Good morning, guys. Currently booting up the computer. You might notice I'm a bit red, a little bit out of breath. I've just done some exercises, trying to lose the weight. I put on say about 3 stone during the last couple of lockdowns, so it's not good. Not good for anyone. I'm getting out of breath just doing normal things like doing the household chores and things like that, and I shouldn't be because I never used to. So I know I'm getting a bit older and having to slow down is part of it, but I want to get back in shape. So that's my plan. You'll see a lot more of that on the vlog from now on, getting into shape. Oh my goodness. So what's happened since the last vlog? Not a huge amount, I have to admit. I've been busy. I'm busy trying to keep the keep the business going, doing some animations for Game Hammer. I've done another Game Hammer with a load of animations, so have a look at this. How is throwing Dizzy at me a clue?
I told you it was a bad clue.
And that's been the highlight of my work. It's just one of those things. Lockdown has not been great for having stuff that's interesting to talk to you about, but I did get something interesting today because, well, a guy on one of the Facebook groups for the Amstrad found a huge amount of old warehouse, new old stock for the Amstrad. This stuff is still out there. So all those people that say, oh, look at this, it's rare, there aren't very many copies around. You don't know, we're still finding this. So I've got here Kettle by Alligator Software. We've got Alligator Bites back down there. Alligator hasn't been around since the 80s, so my goodness. It's amazing. And this is new old stock from a company that hasn't been around for 30 or so years, maybe even more. Also got Nether Earth. Don't even know what this one is, but it looked interesting. So let's have a look at what's on the back. The Insignians can be beaten. At last, the humans are in a position to launch a major offensive against the 3 Insignian war bases. It's got in it a robot constructor and some kind of isometric action game from Argus Press Software. Now, you might know Argus Press. They put out a load of stuff back in the 80s. I believe CPC Computing was one of theirs, the tape magazine. I believe that's true. So that'll be interesting to see. And then last but not least, when I saw this was one of the things I had new old stock, I had to get it. Mastertronic Mega Play 2. Why did I want this? Bronx Street Cop. I had that as a kid, and it was terrible. It was one of the worst games I had ever played, and it was just weird. But I had it, and actually no, tell a lie, I got it as a replacement for the worst game ever. What was it? Oh, I wish I could remember the name off the top of my head. It's something about riots and Los Angeles or something like that. It's like a commando game in a city where you walk along and then the computer slows the entire machine down and it just goes into a complete mess. And if you shoot people, their heads expand and then explode. There was no reason for the slowdown as far as I can tell except bad programming. I had that. My dad thought it was broken. So we went back to the shop several times to get it replaced. And they ran out of copies. We took it back so many times saying it doesn't work, it's slowing down and it's just wrong. It's clearly not a broken game. We didn't know it had just been programmed badly. So in the end, we got a copy of Bronx Street Cop as a replacement. And then I played that and it was so hard I couldn't play it. That's what it was. It wasn't that it was the worst game, it was just that it was too hard for a 6-year-old. And now it's on here, and I'm going to have another try at it. We're going to have a crack at this on a Game Hammer Live. I'm doing the live streams every day, by the way. Link it in the description bar. So we've got on here, Jungle Warfare, F-16 Fighting Falcon, Billy the Kid, Bronx Street Cop, and American Turbo King. Yeah, not Turbo. It says, for the Magnum Light Phaser, and also keyboard or joystick compatible. We will be playing with keyboard and joystick because, of course, light phaser I never had. And that's why Bronx Street Cop was so hard, because I never had the light phaser. So we'll see how that goes. Anyway, I've got a load of scripts to write today before the live stream happens. I've got Thomas the Tank Engine, the action game, and Scoop. They're the board games I want to review for the first 2 episodes of Board Game Hammer. So I'm going to be doing that, some scripts for that today. It's just getting the basic ideas down, and I'll refine it from there. So I've got a lot of work to do today. It's going to be one of those days. I'd best get straight into it. I'll talk to you as we go. So the first thing that I do when working out a new series is get the episode guide. I've got all the different games that I'm planning to review. And some of these might change before we actually get to the series proper. It'll all depend on which direction I decide to take the show and whether I go in a more dramatic way than a standard review. But the first two, Thomas the Tank Engine and Scoop, they're all ready to put into the scripting process. So, after I've done my live stream today, I'll talk to you about how I do that. Okay, I'm going to use Scoop as the example game because it's easier to hold and show you. So we've got the game here, and it's in really rough condition because I bought this on eBay specifically going for the version of the game that I played as a kid. And that's important to me because Nostalgia Factor is part of this. So we've got the board game box here, and that'll be shown. And then we've got all of the pieces. So the process is essentially, the first thing I'll do is I'll talk about what's in the box. We've got all these different cards, crime reporter card, artist card, scoop card, things like that. We also have a load of money. Like, what do we use this for? I'll make some jokes about that. Probably the monster or perhaps the lion or someone like that. He will, because this show is going to be me talking to other characters who are stuffed toys, so that I can do that. I can make a recording while there's only me here. I am doing this, of course, in lockdown, and Jen works an awful lot, so I won't be able to make this at any point in the day where I've got the time to do it. Therefore, it's going to have to be just me and the toys. It's the only way to do it. So I've got all the different cards. I'll talk about all of them, make a few references, make a few jokes. Probably while I'm scripting, I won't be scripting straight away. I'll make the notes, and then I'll make references that I can do a comeback to or a callback to afterwards, later in the show. Things like that, perhaps even in a later episode. There'll be stuff like that. So as an example of what I'm talking about here, we have the weird stories that are actually on the story cards. Shopkeeper's Strad buy was pretty bad buy. Or what else we got? Star Story. Sea monster theory for crewless ships. You can make all kinds of jokes about those, but the main one I really want to focus on is this. The cash for this is from the Fleet Street Czech Bank, and it's a credit of 100. You don't actually get any money, you get credit. So, the joke, of course, being one of the characters will want real money and ask what this Czech bank is backed by, and the joke could be something like Monopoly money, and then at the end they want a payout of their credits, so we give them Monopoly money. Something like that. Or the obvious question, if these are credit notes, then how do the journalists actually get paid? Can they redeem this for cash? Do they have to just use these credit notes on Fleet Street? Is there a weird shadow economy like in John Wick, where everything's paid for by gold coins? There's all kinds of options we can have for this, so I think it's actually going to make for a very good set of joke dialogue. And it's going to be fun to make. Once that's done, I talk about the rules. What are the rules? I'll be explaining them to the cuddly toys that will be playing the game with me, and then we'll go through them again and talk about all the issues that come up while you're playing, while we are playing. So basically, if I note down the core rules, any issues, I'll note those down, and then I can integrate them into the script. The final thing that I need to do while I'm playing this is, of course, if there are any specific gimmicks, we need to make a big thing about the gimmicks. Now, with this one, the gimmick is which phone number you have to call. It will require you to turn this board to that particular thing, and then turn back. And it will get a different response each time. So, you see what I'm doing there. So, I'll bring that close so you can see it. So, if I go to specific thing, let's go to that one there. Bring it back, I get 3 stars. If I go to it again, bring it back, it's a cross. So, as things like that, this is the main gimmick. This will be a big focus of the game. Therefore, it'll be a big focus of the show. And it's little things like that. I've got to make notes on all of these things. Once I've got that done, I can then jiggle all of these sections about and integrate them into an overall story, which will be, well, for the first episode, which is Thomas the Tank Engine, I would be introducing the main cast of the show. So establishing their personalities, which one really likes to stick to the rules, which one likes to try and twist them a little bit, maybe even cheat if they can get away with it, that kind of thing. Which one is watching the other players in case they're trying to cheat, that kind of thing. The kind of paranoid character and all of that. So that'll be part of the establishment, which is why I've gone for Thomas the Tank Engine, the action game, as the first as the first game, because it's a very, very simple game. There won't be a huge amount of rules to deal with, but there might be room for a bit of conflict between all the characters as they progress. This one will mainly, with Scoop, will mainly solidify the format of the show. It's all about the rules and the clash of personalities with the players and things like that. So I've got to put all this together in my notes. Today, all I'm doing is putting the notes together of all the different games I want to play. Or at least, well, all the different games. I'm going to do 2 today. Thomas Tank Engine and Scoop as kind of my test thing to see how long it takes to get all the notes together and start getting some ideas. And then we'll see how we go from there. Because tomorrow, I'll start the actual scripting process with these. And these 2 episodes will be my test bed episodes, like the pilot and then the refined pilot, that kind of thing, to see whether the show is actually going to work. So that's what I've got to get on with now that the live stream is happening, which went really well. I thought it was very good. So I better get on with this. It might take me a couple of hours. We'll see how we go. If you like the show, please consider supporting me on Patreon. It really does help create future videos. That's patreon.com/Zoe Kirk-Robinson. And I've got an extra special thanks going out to Chief89, Tepic, Sam Yates, and Retro Mickey 82. Thank you so much, guys.